Frank, 16 days until the NHL trade deadline, and you got nice and spicy yesterday on dailyfaceoff.com with your Hockey Love Doctor article connecting Patrick Kane to the Edmonton Oilers. Tell us, is this something that could actually happen? Like, does Patrick Kane to the Oilers make sense?
I think it makes sense from an addition standpoint. I mean, if you were to take a look at the Edmonton Oilers and their forward group, if you were to target one specific area, I think it probably would be the right side. So I do believe there is a fit there. I think the idea of really loading up your forward group and saying we are going to outscore and outrun any of our issues on defense, it would be non-traditional. But I think with this current core as assembled, it may be the way to go. And I don't know if there's necessarily the acquisition cost hang up that you'd be dealing with some of the other players that are on our trade targets board. So is it a possibility? Yes, it will all come down to Patrick Kane and his interest level in potentially joining a team like the Edmonton Oilers for a stretch run.
Doesn't a guy like Jonathan Toews potentially make more sense when you look at the defensive side of his game, winning faceoffs and things like that? Like, there's a part of me, the idea of Patrick Kane running out there with McDavid or Draisaitl and working his Showtime magic, that's very tempting just from an entertainment perspective. But from a hockey perspective, shouldn't the Oilers be focusing more on the defensive side of the puck a little bit?
I mean, you could make that argument. I just think Taves' game has really fallen off in a much more drastic and significant way than Patrick Kane. And I think when you look at Kane and maybe the lingering effects of this hip injury that's sort of been nagging him on and off, I think that's a possible way to explain his drop in production. With Taves, I don't know. I'm way more concerned about his overall impact. I think he's I think you're reaching maybe right now with his play to say that he's a third line center in this league. I just think Patrick Kane has so much more to give when you compare just solely those two Chicago Blackhawks stars.
Yeah, I think you have to agree because, like, it's Taves had that condition and he's come back and he's
missed some games.
There's a lot of miles on those tires, and it's similar to Patty Kane, but Patty Kane's like still in superstar mode, and you give him a change of scenery and feel like he can win again and put him in that situation, he's just gonna
Speaking of superstars, go ahead, Frank.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if we still have the board from today's Daily Faceoff live show, but I did outline a potential trade and what that may look like. And if you were to take a peek at that, it was something like Xavier Bourgault, who was a first-round pick, a second-round pick, have the Blackhawks take back someone like Jesse Puljujarvi's contract. The money is a wash. And then you trade a fifth-round pick to the third-party broker to help make the money work on Kane's cap hit. That, let's say that is the framework of a deal. And I think it's probably going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. That you would then still have the assets and you're no worse off cap-wise to then go out and target some of those other things that you were just talking about in trying to improve this team from the defensive side of the puck. There's the exact board. You tell me, like, is that an acquisition cost that scares you as an Oiler fan?
Not really, but I think, like, you made the point earlier in the show today that I just wouldn't want this to be the only move. I think if we're looking at it from a improve the team, get them ready to go on a deep cup run, like this, along with something that improves you defensively, that I could get along with. Because the tempting part about this, you're right, Frank, is that you actually don't touch your first round pick in this deal.
Yeah, so I think it's a pure rental that maybe you can convince him if things go magically to stay on a really cheap deal next season. Hey, come on in and you can come live in Duncan Keith's house in Edmonton like old times, and you can sign for whatever it is, $1 million next year, and help this team moving forward. That would be the play if you're the Oilers and things go swimmingly with Kane.